Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm sorry I was shopping today. Okay, that's a lot better. Ooh, hair's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jeremy with Lifted Adventures. Thank you so much for coming on. This is Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour. Say that 5 times fast. This is Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour, where I interview other YouTube mountain bikers, where you can get on, you can ask your questions, and just have a good fun time. I like to say it's seriously not serious. So today, I have one of my favorite channels on who I know makes an amazing edit on his videos. This guy actually traveled around all 50 states and rode. And let me introduce you, my friend, Andrew Taylor. How you doing, man?
With the times that's going down right now, I'm doing pretty good.
it's
Luckily,
I'm having a blast. It's
yeah,
it's always a
Boise
good time.
is where I live right now, and it's not completely shut down as far as the trails. So
Yeah.
yeah, not
Yeah,
not what it is for some others.
I seriously have, I think within an hour and a half from me, I have that I know of like 2 or 3 trails that are open. I'm going crazy because my normal trail is completely closed. Yet mountain biking here in Florida is a essential activity. I don't know if it is there in Ohio.
Yeah, no, definitely. Actually, so I'm in Boise, Idaho.
Oh, Idaho. I'm sorry, Idaho, not Ohio.
No worries.
Ohio.
But luckily, yeah, luckily it's still an essential activity and people are being super cool. Like I've been riding pretty much every day throughout this last week and everyone's being super sensible as far as like if you're climbing, people are like, pulling off the side of the trail, trying to keep their distance, not congregating in the parking lots of the trail. So
Yeah.
luckily, yeah, everything's still open. So life isn't too bad yet.
Still practicing that social distancing out on the single tracks. Sometimes it
Exactly.
gets hard. I know, like, I went on a ride this past week, and I mean, you're supposed to stay 6 feet apart, but you're traveling at what, 15 miles per hour at least, and what their breath is hitting you in the face. I mean, you have to go at fuller distance than 6 feet. So, but
Totally.
I am not on here to talk about the coronavirus. We're here to talk about you and your amazing YouTube channel. Like I said, you have one of the coolest YouTube channels that I've enjoyed and had the pleasure of watching. Tell me and the viewers who don't know you, tell me a little bit about what your YouTube channel is all about.
Yeah, so I guess I will start out with I've been riding bikes basically professionally since I was about 16 years old. I got my start in the whole dirt jump scene, like post office, all that stuff, competing in slope style. I did a couple of the RedBull Rampage events. So that was like where I got everything started. And then for a lot of years, I did trips around the world where I would kind of choose a destination, pitch an idea to my sponsors, and then we'd get to go and like film and make a project, do like magazine stuff on it. So that worked really great for a long time, and that was always pushing stuff on like my sponsors, like YouTube channels and whatnot. And then, sure enough, as life goes on, you always got to like reinvent yourself. And I was like, man, I really should like jump into this whole YouTube thing. It seems like a good idea. So I came up with the idea to travel like to all 48 states like in a consecutive go in my RV. And to rewind a little bit, I actually had built out a school bus and I went up to Alaska for a project. And then once that project was over, I was kind of like looking for something new to do and came up with the idea to hit all 48 states, the lower 48. So yeah, basically kind of that was the summer before I really got onto that whole thing, I just started to do like some daily vlogs as traveling around in my school bus and realized I was like, all right, I can do this. Like I've figured out how to like edit a little bit, how to film and ride and kind of do it from the road. So once I was like, all right, this will work. I planned for the bigger project, which took me about a year, and that's what kind of like really I feel like kicked off my YouTube channel was traveling all 48 states and meeting
Gosh,
up
that's
with
awesome.
people and making videos from each state as I went.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying the 50, but yeah, you went to 48 states. That's
I
totally cool.
I think I confused everyone because I said like it was like my ultimate 48 state road trip, but like I was saying before I went to Alaska 2 years before that in my school bus, and then when I finished the 48, I was like 49. All right, I got to go to Hawaii. So it was kind of like whatever, like series finale.
Yeah.
Like I'm
The
going to Hawaii.
50th state.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
awesome.
So
That's totally cool. Now, you didn't see. There was a book. I don't remember the book, but it's a true story. The dude traveled in his bus
to Alaska, yeah.
and died from eating poisonous berries. Right?
Yep.
You
So
didn't eat any of those poisonous berries because you're obviously in front of me. Did
I
you
did
eat any
not.
bad berries?
I did not, but I did ride out to. There's this. I think it's called the 51st State Brewery, where that bus is actually like the one from the movie.
Whoa.
It's at, and then I actually ended up riding the trail out to where that actual bus was. Um, but there's a river crossing, so I didn't end up making it all the way. But like I got to go like kind of visit that area, and it was
Wow.
kind of cool to see that.
That's super cool. We were, I remember some kids in my high school were forced to read that book. It was one, well, they weren't forced. It was one of the choices of the books they could read for a book report or something like that. And that's crazy, dude. That's awesome.
Are we
Now,
both on it? Are we both blank on like what that is called?
I can't, I know if I wouldn't
Into the
have said
wild.
anything, Into the Wild, yes.
There it is. All right.
Perfect. Thank you. That would have bothered me this whole time, and I'd probably be getting on my phone trying to figure it out. Go to bed, wake up in the middle of the night, Into the Wild. That's it, and scare my wife and get hit and go back to sleep. But so yeah, that whole trip. Now, what was that like? Was that super fun, or was that just a bummer? I mean, did you get annoyed of it? I mean, 48 states. That's a long time. That's a lot. It took you a year, right?
Yeah, and I actually went into it not having any timeline. I was just like, I'm gonna do this. Luckily, I had the support, so I was able to just be like, all right, this is just a loosely thing. Like I literally remember like planning everything for like the idea sparked. I'd say it was about 7 months later when I was like, all right, I've got everything set up. I bought like a brand new RV, got it wrapped, got racks put on it, all this stuff. Like just wanted to like going from living in a school bus,
Uh
like
huh.
and actually being in an RV when I'm gonna be on the road, it like made a huge difference. I had a shower, a toilet, you know.
Yeah.
So you're like, man, that's really bougie of you. You're in an RV compared to a school bus. But I was like, in order to do this the correct way, I needed to do that. So once I got everything in a line, then I was like, oh my god, I'm supposed to be leaving in a couple weeks. I haven't even drawn out my map of like which states I'm going to first, which is the crazy part. But I was still waiting on like sponsorship obligations of like, because with Norco, I'll do some events with them. I'll go to Crankworx, and like I'm not competing like I used to, but I still like need to be at some events and some things. So I was once I found out all those dates, I kind of actually like guided me, and that's why I carved out leaving from California. I went almost all the way to the East Coast,
Hmm.
or like I think I hit not all the way to the East Coast. I think I hit like Nebraska and like pretty much like 180 all the way back to the West Coast, and like went up into Canada for a bit, and then dropped down into Montana, and then did the whole like East Coast, like northern East Coast, and all that, and then dropped down to like Florida for the winter. So it was funny, like everything worked out like so well to the point where it was like to the day 48 weeks that it took me. So just under a year to do all like 48 states. And like I shit you not, like I started in Big Sur in California, and 48 weeks later, like to the day, I finished back in Big Sur. So it was
Wow.
like this crazy full circle thing that I really did not plan. Like
That's
it sounds
perfect.
it sounds crazy, like, but I really how everything worked out. and the timing. Like I'd say that like when I got done with Arizona, which was my last state, I had to make my way back up to where my stuff was in storage, like near my family's house, and like that was in Santa Rosa. So I like detoured off Highway 5, which I didn't have to, but like I detoured off Highway 5 to get over to Highway 1
Yeah.
on the coast just to like end it like in Big Sur where I like had started the whole like launch video like 1 year before. So I don't know, it was
Wow.
kind of a cool thing.
Now, what about injuries? Did you get any injuries or anything? Well, I mean, that's a lot of riding in a year, and
I
not to
was
get hurt.
I was actually, yeah, super lucky. Like I throughout my whole bike career, I've had like a couple of like minor injuries. I've never broken a bone, which is crazy. But I had a shoulder surgery where I like dislocated like 15 times, but throughout this whole trip that was always in my head like, dude, if I get hurt on this thing, like it's pretty much over or I have to
Yeah.
sit around pause this thing. And so I'd say I definitely rode a lot safer than I normally would have. But luckily, like, yeah, like I came out like injury free. I'd say like
That's awesome.
the worst thing, like, and one thing that I was like pretty stoked on is like I think I went through like 2 drivetrains on one bike in less than a year.
Oh,
Like to the point where the cassettes, like I was riding so much that like I was just like smashing through like because yeah, I just had so many miles and like
wow.
looking back on it, I wish I would have like documented like through like an Apple Watch or something like how many miles I actually rode, but I didn't do that. But yeah, it was
Dang.
uh it was a lot of riding for sure.
That's like I mean, you did it. And I said this before to you the other day. uh, you know, you kind of were the first person. I don't know if I remember anybody else before you doing it, but you're the kind of first person to really do the hardcore. I mean, all that riding around 48 states. And now that you've done it, I'm seeing more and more, especially YouTubers, get out there and do it. I mean, you did it on YouTube, but a lot of people, news stations, and a lot of people outside. I think I saw an article in Pink Bike and all that. A lot of people outside saw you doing it, and now a lot more people are doing it. Were you the first person, or did you get that idea from somebody else?
No, actually, I came up with the idea because I was I was on a family vacation with my dad, and he was talking to me about like his dream in life was to he rides like adventure motorcycles, like him and my mom like cruise around, go on like long hauls, and he's like my goal is to hit like all 48 states in like a motorcycle run. He showed me this like generated map. If you look it up on like Google, like it'll do this like how to hit 48 states in like the shortest like distance or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, that's so cool. We were like talking about it, and I was like, dude, that's an insane idea. Like, what if I think we were having some beers, and I was like, what if I like did it in like consecutive in a row and like made a video from each state riding bikes, and
That's
that's how
awesome.
it like all sparked. And then yeah, like you were saying, like once I finished, I think a couple people have actually hit me up like asking questions and stuff,
Yeah.
like like what what you would have done different and all this. So I'm actually stoked to see that it's like sparking other people's interest to like try
Dude,
to thing.
it
Yeah,
I'm kind it's kind I want to do it. I mean, I have kids and I have a wife, so I'm kind of not able to do that. Maybe someday, maybe my wife and I can travel around. But first off, Blessed times three asks, what was the prettiest state? So what was your obviously the prettiest state, but what was your favorite state to bike in?
man, that is seriously so hard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like so hard, especially because like, I mean, you're not the first person that's asked that question,
Mm-hmm.
but like, I grew up on the West Coast. West Coast has like huge mountains and like insane riding, but it obviously like I had grown up riding up and down the West Coast, Canada to California, like so all of that was like, oh yeah, it's great, but like I've done it so many times, so I was like, I was really excited to see all these new places that I'd never seen. Um, and I think like yeah, with that being said, like one of my favorite places that I rode and I just love the vibes was like Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Uh huh.
But there was just, oh man, there's so many great states, so many places that like surprised the hell out of me. Like even Florida. I think I was telling you the
Yeah,
other
you
day
were telling me, yeah.
when we were talking, like Florida really surprised me, and like I was down there during Christmas time, so I was like coming down from like the um the East Coast, like winter was hitting, I was like freezing. I'm not really like a cold person, so like when I hit Florida, I was like, all right, I can either go home for Christmas. My birthday is January 1st, so I was like either just gonna like take a little break and go home and see family, or just kind of enjoy Florida for a little bit longer. And I ended up like having so much fun in my first week that I was like, I'm just not gonna go home. Like
You
Florida's,
came like during the best time because that's
yeah,
like when it's not hot at all. That's the one, like we have summer and then we have winter, or we have winter. We don't, and it's like that long. As long as you were there, that was the winter probably.
totally. And it was like perfect weather. Like I ended up riding a bunch of cool spots, going all the way down to Key West for like Christmas. I remember just pulling into Key West, like, and getting on my bike and just riding. There was like a bike parade with like Santa Claus and
Yeah,
elves.
yeah.
Yeah, like everyone just like psyched. The weather's good, and I was like, all right, like Florida's awesome. And then like ended up traveling. So yeah, I came all the way down the east coast of Florida, rode Jonathan Dickinson, like Markham, and these like cool pump track near Miami. It was like a Velo Solutions one, and then ended up making my way back up the west coast of Florida. So I got like a really good mix of everything, and rode Alafaya and Santos, and was just like blown away by those places because the elevation's not huge, but like all the flow trails are so much fun, and I'm more into like jumping and all that stuff, and like they just, yeah, they do it right there. They have like so many cool jump lines and utilize the terrain for sure.
That's awesome. Now you had said you did obviously you did Red Bull Rampage. When did you do that?
Oh man, I think the last year I did it was like 2011, and then it mattered. Like I did it twice. Like, and it was when they used to skip a year, so I think it was like 2009 and 2011.
God.
Um, and yeah, my first time competing there was like pretty crazy. It was like it was right around the time when like flipping drops was becoming a thing, um, but like it hadn't really been done yet, and that's how I actually got an invite because I was on this uh, drop-in series. It was an old TV show out of Canada. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but like we
Uh,
traveled school bus for there was like 8 riders and like a full film crew, so it was like the full-on deal. But we ended up ending our trip on that showdown in Utah, and we rode the old Rampage site, and I was like, man, I must have been like 18 or something, like, and ended up like flipping some Canadian bacon drop like in a on a slope style bike, half shell helmet, and like I
oh,
guess Derek Westerland, like the freeride entertainment guy, had like seen the video of that and like reached out and was like, yo, if you're interested in riding Rampage, like like so be it, get over here, like you're in. And I was like, oh my god, I really had like no idea what it was all about, like just kind of
dang.
like pretty wild. So I ended like, yeah, that first year I like my goal was just like to kind of like flip a drop at Rampage. And in my qualifying run, I like went to flip this massive step down jump that was near the bottom, so I had made it through my whole run and went to like flip this jump. And I remember tagging it maybe by like 2 feet short and just got hucked to the bottom. And
Oh.
that was the end of my first Rampage. But the second one was like kind of similar. Like ended up getting down to the bottom of my run during qualifying, and like went to 360 this drop, and just like pretty much I think like 540 the drop. And that was, yeah, that was my Rampage career. So it wasn't like
Ah.
wasn't the best, but
Dude, you still competed in a Rampage. How many people can say that? That's insane. I mean,
yeah,
who's
no,
gnarly enough and balls to the wall, hardcore to do Rampage? That's so cool, dude. And then you did Crankworx too, right? You said that?
yes, that was I think that was like more of my main focus throughout those years was like slope style events.
Yeah.
So I did a ton of slope style, and that was, yeah, super fun. Like loved it. Like started out, I think it was right around like they had like the Qashqai series that went throughout Europe. So I got to do a lot of that, travel through Europe, and meet a lot of cool people that I'm still like lifelong friends with, which is really awesome. And then yeah, doing all the Crankworx series. I never ended up. Wait, what was the best? Oh yeah, I think like the best I ever did was like the second place at Crankworx. But yeah, it was super fun. Like traveling the whole circus like world tour for probably like I think it was like 7 or 8 years straight, and ended up like doing my own contest for about 7 years, where I'd like had a slopestyle. It's called AT Showdown, where I'd first like 5 years was in San Francisco at the Cow Palace, and ended up all the buddies that I competed against in all the slopestyle events. Ended up inviting them, and yeah, it was like a really fun event, and like kind of learned the whole other side of like event promoting and building courses and all that stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah, looking back, like it was just a really great opportunity to get to grow up through my 20s doing that stuff.
That's a dream. That's a lot of mountain bikers' dreams. That's totally awesome. Real quickly, people, this is with Jeremy's pedal power. Make sure you guys ask some questions. We'll skip ahead straight to your questions. If I'm talking, I'll cut myself off. I'm not going to cut off Andrew, but at the same time, I posted Andrew's link down the bottom. Go check him out. Subscribe to his channel. Like some videos. Watch all his videos. He's insanely awesome. With that, Andrew, where did you learn to do like these videos? Where did you learn to edit?
Man, actually, like so funny. I hated school. Like I just couldn't wait to get out. I was like,
You had senioritis in kindergarten.
No, pretty much, pretty much. I mean, towards the end, I was just like, hey, I gotta like legit like take this serious just so I can get out of here. So ended up like the last year of high school, I was like the one class that I loved was like filmmaking. Like so, me and my buddies always like rode bikes, so we were all like in a video class where we got to learn how to like edit on Macs and all that stuff. So I never thought that it would like be something that I started doing later on in life, but like looking back when I started editing a couple years ago to do this whole thing, I remember being like, oh my God, I remember I learned all these like small things on iMovie back in high school. So I was like, yeah, thank God that I actually like ended up taking my last year serious and kind of having fun with a class that I really liked. So I always like, I've ended up doing some like talking at like elementary schools and stuff with kids and stuff. I'm always like trying to ingrain in their heads, guys, like just make sure like even if you don't love it, like whether it's math or English or anything, like you're gonna need all these skill sets later in life because like yeah, sure enough it does. So yeah, that's how I kind of got my start with editing, and I'm like really glad that I had that opportunity.
That's awesome. And you still enjoy it to a point, right?
Oh yeah. I think we were also like when we were talking the other day, I was
Yeah.
telling you like I don't think a lot of people realize how much time and effort goes into
Oh man, yeah.
self-producing. Because in the beginning of my years, I was like, oh yeah, I'd go like somewhere, we'd have like the filmers, and then they would get back home and they would be editing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just like like ride and be like, oh that's sick, man, good job. But then like fast forward when you're riding, filming, editing, and doing everything yourself, there's like you gotta love it, or
Mm-hmm.
else you're not
Correct.
gonna be doing it because like you're gonna end you'll spend. I'd say I'd probably between writing, editing, or writing, filming, editing, like on that 48 state road trip, I would say I was probably like an over 80 hours a week, like just doing that
Yeah.
stuff,
Yep.
just to keep it going. And so you gotta love it. But I was also telling you too, when I finished the trip, I was like, man, I'm a little burnt out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta take a chill, like reset. So I've done a handful of videos since I finished the road trip.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was super stoked to. I ended up moving to Boise, Idaho once I finished, so I was really stoked to move here and then start like come up with a new idea to like make videos and get back after it. But now I guess with this whole like epidemic of basically we're in spring, like snow just melted, but now we're stuck at home. So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a good time for me to come up with like a new concept of like what I want to do in the future. But I was still
I'm gonna
trying.
start riding in one of these gas masks. They have an area where you can actually put water and drink water through it. So that might be something we could think of doing. Start a business together.
Dude, yeah, if this thing keeps up, I mean, I'm I'm sure it would actually be a legit business.
It's gonna be Mad Max. We're gonna be strapping AK-47s on our back. Our bikes are gonna have to be stripped down to straight up aluminum colors, just straight up steel colors. And we're gonna wear gas masks, and we're gonna bike with our shirts off. And lots of leather, tons of leather.
I don't know if people might not dig the dad bods. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I look good. So,
Well, this one of us. No.
but no, it's awesome, dude. Well, you really, Lunch Ride wants to know, is there a gas mask GoPro mount? I don't know, where you could put it on. Where would you think? I mean, the gas mask has a spot right in the front. Maybe you could put it. I don't know.
I wish I had seen your gas mask, because then I could be a lot more help for that.
It's just a regular gas mask. I got it. I got it when I had my first daughter, when I had my first child. My in-laws, because I have very, very bad gag reflexes, and any smell that I do not like will upbring that reflex. And so when I changed my first poopy diaper and accidentally stuck my finger into it, I was gagging all over the place. And my in-laws thought it would be amazingly hilarious to give that gift of a gas mask on my first Father's Day.
Yeah, that's still awesome. I've got a pretty good story to go in line with that. I think when I upgraded from the school bus to the RV,
Yeah.
I didn't know much about like emptying, the black tanks,
Oh
all that
God.
stuff.
Oh God.
I literally like I got the RV, like me and my friend, we had went out to the coast and spent the weekend there just to like break it in, whatever.
Yeah.
Like come back, I go to like
Uh-uh.
empty the RV tank, and
Nope.
I literally just like full on like took the cap off, and
Nope.
the things were pulled, and it like literally shit all over me.
Nope.
Yep. Like that gas mask would have been perfect for that. And now I feel like
Oh my God.
I need a gas mask, because I'm like, it just reminds me of that smell, and like I'm like, oh man.
I don't, I was actually thinking, I did my first enduro a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of the racers had some trailers they brought along with them, and I was like, this is a sweet idea. I just got a new truck, and I'm like, I can get a trailer, and we can travel around as a family and go all do this. But I completely forgot until you just mentioned this. You have to unload your own poop and everything. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can. Oh my God.
I would say that's the worst part about living in an RV. It's like, especially, this is gonna sound so disgusting, but like if you're in like warm temperatures,
Oh yeah.
it's like a day or two or three before you're like, I need to go empty that thing, because
Oh
like
God.
yeah.
It's a porta potty.
It basically exactly.
That's
It's a porta
so
potty
much.
in
That's
your
so
living
much
room.
fun. I'm gonna tell my wife tonight. We're gonna get a camper, and it's gonna be fine. I'll keep it clean and everything, but she's got to clean the poop. So.
I think there's a lot of people, like I heard stories about the old Fox bus that used to cruise around, but
Yeah.
there was like a rule, like you were not allowed to, no number 2 in the bus.
I can agree. I went on trips in college. Some people might not know, but I was a cheerleader in college.
Oh no way.
Yeah, I was a cheerleader, but not the clapping kind.
Yeah,
I actually picked the other cheerleader up and threw her up in the air and held her on my hands. I was cool. I was a buff dude. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, when we would go and travel, we'd take the bus, and that was the rule. There was you could go number one, but you
Yep.
could not go number two. Um, um,
It's a good rule,
it's a very
but
good rule. It's a very good rule.
when times are hard and there's nowhere around,
You
you
have to.
gotta.
Yeah. And if I tell my wife that we're getting a camper and she's going to clean it out, we're not getting a camper. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. So now, how long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
So I recently looked back. I think like after I talked to you, and I was looking like I uploaded this random race run from
Yeah, you mentioned that.
like 7 years ago or something like, and then yeah, like about a year before I hit the road for the 48 state road trip. When I was kind of coming up with the idea, I was like, I wanted to start filming and do like a whole vlog thing just to see if I could do it, like if I could like actually. So that summer I was traveling around in my bus. I was on a trip up to Canada for some Norco events, and I was with my team manager and one of the other team members, and I think we were at Kicking Horse, and like all of a sudden I woke up that morning and I was like, "Yo, I think I'm just gonna like start this vlog today and see if I can actually handle like making videos from the road."
Yeah.
So it kind of kicked off from there, and I did like I think about 2 months of it, of just like on the road making some videos. Like I was doing like 2 or 3 videos a week, for a couple months, and then I was like, okay, I got the hang of this. Like I can do this, and then I kind of like went on pause again, um, and that's when I started prepping. I did a trip down to Mexico for a different project, and then when I got back from that, I like really like dove in, started getting some more like film equipment, and then I think I, and then, yeah, start then really like dove in like head first when I started the 48 state road trip. I think it was kind of cool to see. Like I went from around like probably just a couple hundred people like watching what I was doing to it growing like just each week with like as the trip like progressed. So
Yeah.
yeah, from there like it kind of just kept going, and I think I was telling you too. I was like, man, like it's it's a lot of effort, and like some people I feel like can just get on YouTube and like be very successful at it. But like I mean, like even after traveling all 48 states and making videos in each state, and like I slowly or quickly realized like it's a lot of work, and it's really hard to like grow. So I think I was telling you like I have a lot of respect for guys that have been like doing it for years and
Yeah.
years. It's a real time consuming job. Like whether people like obviously it's like it I would rather be doing nothing else than doing that, but it's for sure like it takes a lot of time and effort, and yeah. So like I was
I
saying,
mean, you
a lot
see,
of
you see, MTB Trail Mix says watching all of you guys motivates me to switch things up. I need to get better at film angles and what to talk about. And that's completely honest. It's switching things up, and uh, what confuses me though is from the start you have like legit videos, and maybe I haven't watched enough of your beginning ones. I know mine were garbage, absolutely horrible edits, and mine are I still don't think they're pretty good at all, but it, these guys have, and that's what confuses me. The big shots, they have some awesome edits and everything. You literally have, I would argue to say, better than some of the bigger name YouTubers. You got some awesome shots. You got drone footage, like I was saying the other day. You got some awesome stuff. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think luckily too, like I was telling you, I went from competing like so that was like my main thing was like so focused on competing, and then um like with the sponsors that I had, they were always like, "Hey, like that's awesome, but if you want to do projects on your own, like we'll support it." So then I went into this thing called Seasons of Shred, where I traveled around for like 5 years with a buddy from Austria. Like we were both riding for Adidas, and
Yeah.
they were supporting these trips that we were doing all over. But him and I were actually like hiring the filmers and kind of I would almost say like producing the trips, so we were like writing stories for magazines. We were writing, but we were also like helping like the filmers like set up the angles and kind of come up with that idea for the like each episode, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of learned a lot doing that for so many years. So it kind of, even though I wasn't filming, I was around it so much. And then like when they would edit, I would sit in on like the editing with them as well and be like, oh yeah, like I think this would look good with this shot. So I think I kind of, before I even just dove headfirst in, I had like a lot of years of just kind of being around it to know. And then a lot of friends that I made, like that, like filmers that I would have hired, like, hey, if you're just like getting into filming or YouTube, and like, what camera would you get? Like, what's a good setup? And then like just having a good group of friends to like pick their brains as far as
Yeah.
uh, like what good settings are, what to edit on, like what kind of computer, like the whole 9 yards. So I would say I definitely had like an advantage of just the average person like watching a YouTube video and be like, I want to do this, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. Well, hopefully, me getting you on here, hopefully I can get a bunch more subscribers to or people to check you out and go and follow you on YouTube and get you back up there. Now, you still have some sponsors and are still writing for several. Do you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, I mean, I've been with a lot of like great companies throughout my career, and like I've been like stoked like riding for Norco. They're just a great bike company that you know I've
That's
been
totally awesome.
more than happy with. So
That's totally awesome. You see, that's the I mean, it'd be totally cool, and it's a dream of everybody's to have, especially YouTubers, to have somebody, pay for their bike.
yeah, totally. I mean, I think I like never thought in a million years that I would be like 32 years old still riding bikes for my job, but
Yeah,
it's been super awesome, and just like I don't know, like just definitely count my blessings every day that I still get to do this. And yeah, another actually thing that I guess I didn't really like touch in on too, like once I finished up that trip, another one of my longtime sponsors is XFusion, and they are a suspension manufacturer. And I've ridden for them since I was like 14 years old, which is
wow,
crazy. I think one of my longest time sponsors, but they gave me the opportunity to do their marketing for the whole company. So since I finished my road trip um, and I landed in Boise now, the house, I've been taking care of all the marketing for that company. So now I'm juggling like riding and learning this marketing gig for one of my longtime sponsors. So it's been really cool in that sense as well, just to have companies that I've grown with and then actually like see me in the light of like, hey, this guy's not just riding, like he can actually help us like grow our company in different ways. So it's been awesome just to have that opportunity as well.
that's totally cool. That's totally cool, dude. That's like, I mean, to have that, is mountain biking, is this your full time job now, or do you do other stuff?
Yeah, mountain biking's been my full-time job since I was right out of high school, basically. Like I had some like high school jobs for sure.
Yeah,
I worked some construction in between, probably like 18 to 20 years old, like on the off season.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, like turned it into like a full-time career. And then I'm definitely like, I'm getting older. I'm not competing anymore. Like I'm not, the cream of the crop. So going straight out of high school, decided not to go to college, and jumping into like the whole competition thing, and then now like doing the filming thing. Um, so to have like a company like XFusion be like, hey, like we are down to like hire you on for this marketing thing, which is like such a great opportunity for me. So I'm juggling now, like still with my like sponsorships of making videos, and like still I have income from riding, but I also like the other side of it. And this is like the first year where the other side is me doing like working remote from home, doing marketing stuff, like running the team, doing the contracts for everything, doing their social media and like all the marketing initiatives for like ads and whatnot. So I'm like every day like learning more and more stuff, like working for a lot of like companies in the mountain bike industry. So it's actually been a really cool process, and I love it. Like I feel like I love it just as much as riding, or love it just as much as like the whole YouTube thing. Like it's just, I think learning just a whole new thing for me in life is just awesome. And yeah, just trying to better myself.
See, that's totally awesome. That's an awesome company too to allow you, because I mean, it's awesome to say, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm mountain bike for a living. I'm a professional mountain biker. That's totally awesome. But I mean, we do get older, and there's going to be a certain point in time you're not going to be riding as hardcore as you can now, and for a company to allow you to work for them and continue until you retire, that is the sickest, coolest thing that a company could do. That's pure. That's totally cool.
Yeah,
That's
man. Just I like it's it's scary for any professional athlete. Like
yeah.
especially when you start at a young age, you're like, if you didn't go through college because you were focused on like your sport at that time, you're like,
Hmm.
what am I gonna do when I'm done? But like literally to have the opportunity to still ride and transition into this like
Yeah.
marketing job, I just feel so fortunate, and I'm like trying to learn as much as I can and like make sure like they're stoked on what I'm doing and I'm able to prove myself. But yeah, I couldn't be more stoked that they've given me the opportunity. So
That's totally awesome. That's totally sweet. Now, how long did you say you were with them for, since back when you were like 14? Did you say that?
yeah, like they've been around for 21 years now. Long time. Like a lot of people, like I'm not sure if you're familiar with XFusion.
Hmm.
They do a lot of dropper posts on a lot
Yeah.
of like bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
This is it really, it's like it's gotten to the point where it's like I think some of the best stuff, and it's affordable. So yeah, from a young age, I was like, that was not me trying to like throw some marketing words in there, but they were one of my first sponsors. There's this company out of the Bay Area. I grew up in the Bay Area, San Francisco area, and Versus, and they had good connections with that company. So the first dirt jump bike that I got from that company came with an XFusion fork on it, and their U.S. headquarters was like right down the road. So I ended up like at a young age like getting hooked up with those two companies, and ended up obviously like just staying with XFusion forever.
Hmm.
Um, and they had their U.S. headquarters out of Santa Cruz, California, where I was living for about 10 years. And then they decided to go like kind of like a different. They ended up opening up like a service center in Reno, Nevada, and they just dispersed their U.S. office. And at that point, the U.S. manager had decided to go to a different bike company. So that's kind of how it all came together. I was like, hey, I've been like with you guys for so long. Like, are you interested in having me like just take over the social media for a little bit while you guys figure out like a new marketing guy? And then it ended up being like I actually went over to Taiwan where their factory is, and ended up hanging out. And then they asked me like, actually, like we'd like to have you help us do this. And we believe in you. So it was like really cool. So like basically, once I finished up the thing, I was like, all right, I'm gonna jump in and do this a little bit more. So
That's totally cool. Now, you were saying you raced in Crankworx or that, and you competed in Rampage. Have you done any other races?
I was never like a racer, just all like freestyle slow
Yeah,
stuff.
that
Just I
competed, I
guess
guess. Yeah,
yeah, sorry. I guess same difference, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
You're all trying to get on the podium.
exactly. Mostly yeah, like dude, I did the Crankworx series, like the Cash Kai stuff, Rampage. I did one of my favorite events, and like one of the, I think the last time I actually like really competed was the last like Ray's Odd Couple contest. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Like
No, I'm not.
they did like a contest where like one BMXer, one mountain biker come together. You have like 5 days to create a video within the uh, within the indoor skate park, and so I did that for quite a few years, and held my own event for quite a few years, and yeah, and then just like kind of like jumped into more like the film trip stuff. But
That's awesome. Now, you said you started, did you say you started as dirt jumping? That's what you started, or did you start BMX or?
I'd say from as a really young kid, like smashing through the neighborhood on like a BMX bike, and then funny enough, like my neighbor owned a bike shop, and his son was like on a road bike team, and this is when we were like maybe like 10 years old, but like ended up like doing some road racing, and then it like then we got yeah,
That's
super
awesome.
fun.
Okay.
It's like so weird, and then I always BMX'd in between, but then yeah, I ended up getting like a mountain bike and started doing some local like cross country races like in the neighborhood. And I remember yeah, like going to the bike shop and then wanting to get a new mountain bike, and it was like right when the like Specialized P series bikes came out, like when like dirt jumping had become like a thing. And I went down to the bike shop, and the guy at the bike shop sees me trying to like ride a wheelie on this like Kona cross country bike in the park, and
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah.
hey kid, you actually need this bike. Like it was like for like he's like, this is what you are gonna excel on, and I was like, all right. Like ended up getting the dirt jump thing and like still cross country rode on it, but it gave me the option to like go start hitting dirt jumps, and yeah, from there it just kind of took off. Like I grew. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the Aptos like post office dirt jump scene. It was like a huge thing before it all got torn down. But there was like an insane scene down there. It was like 2 hours south of where I grew up. So
Yeah.
once I got to the age where I was able to like drive down there, I like kind of like made some friends with like all like the young local kids, and then we all started like competing together at events. Like up, we'd go up to like Harvest Huck Fest at Whistler every year, kind of like an amateur one, and then Crankworx really like started blowing up, and like I didn't compete in the first couple Crankworx, but I think I was like I'd say I was like the younger generation to like with the like started like the like with inside of like the Crankworx slope style stuff before like right after it turned from Joyride. So it was really cool to be part of like the slope, like kind of like almost near the beginning of like the whole slope style movement of just watching it like grow and then like turn into these like big competitions throughout the whole world, I guess.
That's awesome. Hey, can I ask you, can you turn on the light? I can't see you.
Oh yeah, I was actually wondering. Hanging out here in the
I
dark.
mean, you look good in the dark, but everybody looks good in the dark. There we go. I'm just sitting here and I'm looking and I can see you, and then I'm realize, wait, I can't see him anymore.
I think the screen on my computer was like going into the blank mode too, so it was like
That's
the light
hilarious. That's awesome.
up that.
That's totally cool. That looks good now. Perfect now. That's perfect.
You
Um,
guys see the fly fisherman up there?
yes, I was talking about that. With that, fly fishing, is that we had talked recently about you fishing. Is that your? I mean, everybody's got hobbies and everything, and you got to do stuff to get away from your job. Even though mountain biking is bliss and all awesomeness, what is your hobbies outside of mountain biking?
Yeah, definitely fishing's one of them for sure. I lived in Santa Cruz with my buddy Greg Watts, who's another like slope style mountain bike guy,
Mm-hmm.
and we owned a fishing boat together. So we always said it was like such a good thing to do on our off time because like you can't get hurt, and it's
Well,
I
you
don't know
can.
like
I've seen
uh,
some nasty pictures of hooks in people's eyes, and
that is true actually. But for the most part, it's not like going out riding dirt bikes.
no, no.
So yeah, we spent a ton of time fishing throughout the years living in Santa Cruz. We lived like kind of like right near the bay, so we'd go out and like fish for lingcod and tons of rockfish and stuff. So yeah, just growing up as a kid, like loving to fish. And now that I live in Idaho, I actually just yesterday I got my waders and some and a new fly pole. So
Nice.
like people are through all this whole like coronavirus mess. So there's still tons of people out on the river fishing, like
Hmm.
practicing their social distancing. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to get after that now that I live in a kind of a mecca for that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, you got to. And like I had said, I fly fished up until I moved here to Florida, and I sold one of my fly rods. I had another fly rod and reel, and I I couldn't tell you where my flies are at. I have no idea where they're at. I think did I sell them with it? I might have sold them with my fly rod. I had a lightweight fly rod where I was catching crappie and all that kind of stuff. But talking to you about it, I might have to get back into
Back
it. I don't
into
know.
it. Hell yeah, I'm excited. Like I've spent little stints of time doing fly fishing, but I'm not like, but I'm for sure like a newbie at it. So
See a lot of people down here they go flat bottom fishing for red drum, redfish, and then sheephead. I think they fly fish around here for.
are those? Is that out? That's like all freshwater stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reds are in brackish water.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know my stuff here in Florida. I surf and I mountain bike, so I have no clue on it at all. But I've been out of the fishing world. I just could not. When you fly fish, can you get a really pretty overhand cast, or do you see? I had a crappy overhand, but my sidearm was beautiful.
I feel like I'm a sidearm
Yeah, I'm a
for
sidearm.
sure. I would say, yeah, sidearm's probably a lot easier, huh? That's probably what I do.
Yeah, can you do any of those pretty bow kind of casting where you have your line out there and you want to bring it to another area closer and you do like a swim with your arm? Can you do those things?
I would go with a hard no on that one.
That's awesome. Well, I can't do that either. So with all your biking and everything, and I mean obviously you got some of the best gear on your bikes. Um, do you work on your own bikes yourself, or do you have a technician that you have work on your bikes for you?
Yeah, actually, I do work on my bikes myself. I'm actually just getting ready to start building up all my new bikes for the year, so I'm pretty excited. And
That's
that's
awesome.
it's actually one thing that I've been doing on my channel is actually just like dream builds. I know I'm not definitely not the first one to do those,
Yeah.
but I find it a really good way to like create some content. Like, and people, I feel like people love like watching, like kind of seeing what like people are riding, like what they're putting on their bikes. So yeah, so pretty soon here I'll have a bunch of new videos of just like the bikes that I'll be riding. I
Yeah. You
kind of,
can't mention what you're going to be riding.
oh no, I can
Okay.
actually. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm building up like I just did a dream build kind of thing down in Australia in December. That was like the new Norco 2020 site, and then um, I'm gonna be building a new range, which is their kind of like enduro freeride bike, but I'm gonna make it more of an freeride bike-ish. So it'll be kind of cool. Gonna do some like special things on that bike, so I'm excited for that. And then I will be building up like a short travel fluid, which is Norco's actually aluminum bike. It's like a 27.5, so it'll be like more like a little like slalomish style bike. So that'll be kind of fun to have
That's awesome.
a really like small short travel bike in the quiver. And then um, haters are gonna hate, but I am gonna build my first e-bike, and I'm really
Hey, you're
excited
cool here. You're in welcome free company right now. We accept all type of all type of bike riders.
Nice. Yeah, I've never been like a hater. I've never been like, oh, I can't wait to get one until I rode one this last summer at the Norco launch, and I was like, I need one of those.
You
Like
see,
it's
that's what I'm scared about. I do not want to ride one, and I've never sat on one. I've looked at one from a distance. I practice social distancing from mountain bikes, but I know if I get on one, I don't want to ride it because if I do, I'm afraid I'm not going to like my analog bike anymore.
right.
I'm scared of that.
I think there's definitely still a time and a place for like for the real like the old school bikes now, but but yeah, it's just knowing, like, especially where I live, like I live probably a mile from the trailhead, um, and to get up to the mountain is probably, I would say, like roughly 3,000 feet, and
Yeah.
then Boise, it's all these like foothills of like just um, gulches from the way the mountains are formed. So a lot of the trails, like it's like up and down, up and down. Like you can do like a 10,000 foot day. Like, so I'm just excited to have an e-bike because I can actually go out there and like maybe try to attempt to do like that big of a day. Whereas normally I probably would never on a regular bike. Like I would just be dead by that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you see, I see that. That's perfect. That's exactly it. And you're not competing in it, so you're
no,
not cheating. You are having fun. You're out in nature. You are still practicing social distancing, and you're enjoying it. That's what it's about. That's awesome.
exactly. That's what I always say. It's like people like what, like I don't understand all the hate. It's like, is it? It's not hurting you at all.
No, it's not.
Like like you can do what you want, like ride like your normal bike, but like I don't know. I just, especially here in Boise, it's awesome too because like a lot of the trails are shared by motorcycles and bikes.
Yeah.
So there's not really that like huge argument of like, well, they tear up the trails worse than regular bikes, which is like I don't I don't find that true, but
No.
I don't know. As long as you're having fun, like keep it fun. Like don't hate. Just it's not hard to be nice.
And if you've noticed, we had 6 people on, and the minute we started talking about e-mountain bikes, we went down to 4. Um, um, but you know, I don't. It is what it is. Some people like it. Some people don't. If you don't like it, don't ride it. If you like it, then ride it. I mean, that's just what it is. Um, MTB Trail Mix asks, and first off, he says he's getting a range. I guess that's an
Oh, nice.
e-bike. Or I don't know what that is, so I don't know my e-mountain bikes. He asked, you ride with a backpack? Do you ride with a backpack, hip bag, or nothing?
I usually don't ride with anything unless I'm filming, um, which I'll just have a small backpack with some cameras in it.
Yeah.
But like today, I did a couple of runs, and yeah, just try to have tools like on the bike and then a water bottle cage. But other than that, yeah, just try to keep it light and free.
Do you keep a banana on your bike?
I definitely don't.
Okay, I've seen some people
I
do that, and maybe it's an
I should
enduro
I
thing.
should probably I've seen yeah I've seen some people tape them on there.
Yeah, I have too. I don't know if they're joking with it or if they're dead serious with it.
Hey, maybe that's a new company we should come up with is like yeah, a way to strap your banana safely to your bicycle.
Bananduro. Bananduro.
And
Or Endurana. No, I like Bananduro better. And everything has to be banana yellow. Everything. Even our
I,
whole gear. The cross country guys are gonna wear completely banana yellow spandex. That's
yo,
all they're gonna wear.
have you seen those? They actually make a case for a banana though, like a
Yeah,
hard
they
case.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, hardcore. And then the trail, the Trek has that little burrito box in it. You could put a banana in there too. A lot of the bikes have that little extra case in their
Yeah,
carbon down
yeah. But
tubes.
Specialized has the big one, right, where you can
Yeah,
put like a
I
small.
call it the burrito bag or whatever inside of it.
Totally.
It's for a banana. It's made specifically for a banana. And then a lot of face masks, a lot of full face helmets have not face masks, but full face helmets have a special, it's a banana hole right in the front, and you can actually eat your banana through your helmet because but bananas are even amazing because they're curved, so they fit up from underneath the chin guard of the helmet and go in your mouth perfectly. So. And I bet you didn't know that. You're a pro rider, but I might have just taught you something. I don't know.
Definitely.
Well, we got a minute left, and I really want to. I forgot to get it out of you. The first time, I always ask everybody to say Jeremy's pedal power hour 5 times as fast as they can. So when you're ready, if you would, say Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour 5 times as fast as you can.
All right, here we go. Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour, 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 Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour. Is that 5?
I think that was 6, but that's perfect. That was awesome.
Ooh, that's a tongue twister.
Isn't it? You know, when I was thinking of it, I was like, this is perfect. I'm gonna have to make them say Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour. Now, when you close your videos, do you have a special closing word that you give people?
I do not.
You don't? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
like I tell everybody who does not have one, we're gonna make everybody that's watching us down in the comments below or in the live feed, down in the comments below, or you can Instagram Andrew, you can post in his videos. We're going to make up our own closing quote for Andrew so that he can be with us cool kids like everybody else.
Yeah, and you know, if it's something awesome, then I'm going to have to just use it from here on out.
Maybe you should just say, go to Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour at every end of your video.
At the end of every video.
Or go buy your Bananduro and strap it to your bike.
Links in my bio.
Links in my bio, bananduro.com. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for hitting me up, and thanks for just reaching out and wanting to chat. And it's a good time to connect with other people right now. So I appreciate it.
Definitely, I love these. I love these chats. This is so much fun. Again, guys, I have Andrew's YouTube channel in the link. His link down in the description below. Go check out his channel, subscribe to him, like all his videos, and share him out so we can get him up to 100,000 and be a cool YouTuber, because you're not a cool YouTuber unless you get 100,000 subscribers. That's a complete lie. Andrew's a totally awesome guy, and again, I appreciate it. Had a blast.
5% the way there, right?
You're 5% there. You're almost there, man. Almost there. If you had a banana on your bike, you would already be there. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. But like I say every single time, guys, make sure you lift up God, lift up life, lift up the adventure. Get out there and make your own adventures. Again, go check out Andrew Taylor's YouTube channel. Grab a banana, and I will talk to you guys later. God bless. See you guys.